All right, everyone. Well, welcome back to Hoop to Holler with Dylan Walrus, aka the B-Ball Study Hall. What's up, Dylan? We're going to make it nice and concise today. How are you doing, my fresh-faced man over there? What's going on?
Fresh phrased. I can hear it in your tone,
Yeah,
man. You sound like
fresh.
me. You sound like me. You're like
Yes.
speeding along. Usually you're the I'm gonna slow it down, Walrus. I just want to keep it at a
Mm,
speed so I can actually
yeah.
understand you, my dude. Kids gloves, like what however
Love it.
Yeah,
Love the
yeah. Doing
throwbacks.
well.
Yeah.
Good to see you, brother. Just talking
You
about the
too,
double
man.
chin. So let's talk some NBA and get the double chin working a
Yeah.
little bit. What do you got, man? This is the tight 15
Absolutely.
today.
Type 15, right? Yeah, as best as we can. So, all right. So we want to first start with expansion, right? So, this has been something that they've been talking about recently and over the years, obviously going back to Seattle and Vegas, but it's looking like it's actually going down. What do you think, man? Obviously, Seattle Supersonics, that's pretty set. Thing I'm thinking about is what the name is going to be for this
Hmm.
Vegas team. Have you been thinking
Oh,
about that? You have any
yeah,
suggestions?
yeah. We did. We shot this in the group text, right? We had the
Did we?
craps, which I think might have a
Okay.
double punt. Maybe you missed this. That was my first suggestion was the
Yeah.
craps.
No,
The
yeah.
other the
I'm
other
not
one I
familiar
kind of
with
liked
this.
was the Las Vegas Strip. Like just the
Interesting.
strip. But I could care. Frankly, I could care less about the team name. I mean, that's fun. The roulette. I mean, we could go down the list. If you've got something, shoot. If you want to shoot, but
I was thinking the
I
Jacks,
okay, that's fine.
Las Vegas Jacks.
Yeah.
You know,
I get it. I
you don't
guess
want to get too close
the
to the
card
gambling.
maybe the one-eyed jack then if you want to like when you first
Yeah,
said
the
jacks I was thinking like
Blackjacks.
yeah the blackjacks. Maybe I was thinking of like the
Depends, of
game
course. Yeah.
jacks. Here's what I'd say, Wally.
Sure. Actually, never
Expansion.
played that game. Is that a fun game?
Yeah. Before my time, man.
Yeah.
Isn't that like 1800s? I'm a product of the 1900s at least. You and me both. So
Me both, man.
expansion.
Yeah,
Yes to Seattle, and we don't have to question that's going to be the Supersonics, right? There's this funny
sure.
back and forth of apologies from OKC fans to Seattle fans, but we all know this is a hoop mecca, a hotbed. The University of Washington teams, from Will Conroy to Brandon Roy to Jamal Crawford, to
Yep.
these players that have come out. But I will say also, like, I think I was all pro expansion if you asked me last summer. The more I've thought about it is like the diluting the product argument is a little bit interesting and how this actually goes out. Now I'm a Pacific Northwest dude myself. Oregon, my best buddy was from Seattle, spent a lot of time there in college, and Seattle deserves a team. Deserves, I guess, is a loose word.
They were wrong. That was a fan base that was wrong. Great fan
Yeah,
base.
and so
Shout
that
out our guy DJ.
shout out DJ, and then shout out MGB. He's not gonna like this take, but should not the Pellies just move there? Or I mean, the Wizards pick like a struggling the Clippers. The Clippers should have
It
moved to
should have been the
Seattle
Clippers,
with
of course.
Ballmer, and that money should have gone there.
Absolutely.
I mean, we have two things going on right now, right, Wally? We have this beautiful playoff push where the top teams are just beating the crap out of each other and everybody's playing. And we're going to talk 65 games as well, which kind of
Yep.
ties into this a little bit. We have that nuance going. And then we have this tankathon going on where teams are literally playing dudes that aren't just G Leaguers, but never been on contract, that you and I and every professional hot talking head out there doesn't even know who they are. I listened to an
Yeah.
interview with Windhorse and Rosillo before he jumped on. They are seeing players that they have never even heard of, that they're Googling to find out
Crazy.
where do they go to high school. And so by diluting this, by adding two more teams, the talent pool is going to, grow, but it is a dollar game again. And is Vegas a basketball city? I mean, they get a lot of Laker fans there for summer league, and a
Hmm.
lot of people like to bet. And the association, I will say wrong, but right or wrong, it's about dollars and it's about betting. So what do you
Sure.
think? I mean, the name thing is
I,
fun, but like, what do you think from a basketball perspective?
Yeah. I think two more teams, I don't think it's going to necessarily make that much more of a difference in terms of dilution, like you're pointing out. It certainly will to a degree. I think ultimately, yeah, Seattle's a no-brainer like that. And I agree. Trust me. Like when Steve Ballmer bought the team, I was like, this guy needs to move
Clips.
them up to Seattle. It's perfect, man. Microsoft, there's a great harbor there in Seattle with boats,
Yep.
right? Like the
And
Clippers.
The Clippers would make sense. Yeah. Yes.
They would. They absolutely would.
Yep.
But Vegas, it's about money. And like honestly, I was watching opening day, crossing over into baseball here, and the amount of opening night, I should say, with my Yankees playing the Giants, the amount of commercials devoted to gambling
It's
was
nuts,
just
right?
like,
Yeah.
wow, it
I
was just
mean,
overwhelming. So
yeah.
that's where they're at,
Yep.
you
And
know.
and, and I don't think neither of us are gamblers. I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but I mean, we like our
Definitely
money,
not.
and there's a reason that that you see on the outside noise though is Vegas is slowly kind of dying
I know.
in terms of so maybe it's just another ploy to try and
Hmm.
bring things in and but yeah, whether it's the Giannis crap of all this back and forth to then have him come out and be a Kalshi guy, like
Hmm.
I don't know, man. Like we like basketball, you and I, and you
Yep.
love the Lakers, and so we're gonna be fans. But I do wonder, are other casual fans in the NBA, and does this help or hurt that? Seattle, I think fans are going to show up there and
For sure.
they're probably going to like. There's some bad blood there, but I bet they'll come out. And so again, from a dollar perspective, and this is big dollars. I don't was it 7 to 10 billion was like the opening bids for these
Sure.
projected teams, and so every owner takes a piece of that pie. When somebody buys that, they split that out 30. So
Right.
they're all I
Yeah.
guess
They're all
promote
in. The chips are
promote
moving to the center of the
correct.
table.
Given that then they have to split future TV contracts, but so it's something we haven't talked a lot about. But the dollars and whether it's the hard cap, the second apron, this 65 game, and why this exists, it comes back to put dollars in owners' pockets, and you know
Yeah.
it's challenge. It's
Or
challenging
keeping them in their pockets, right?
keeping them in their pockets.
Let's talk
But
about that 65.
Wally,
So, all right, so let's talk about this 65 game threshold. We've talked about it before, but it just became very real with what just happened with Cade Cunningham and his collapse lung. It's a real bummer because that dude was having an MVP caliber season, leading the number one team in the Eastern Conference. I think this, this might be the catalyst for them to really reimagine, what they're going to do with this, because as we know, it's all about trying to mitigate load management, keeping superstars out on the
yeah,
floor for the fans that pay to see it and watching it on TV. But at the same time, it's like you're going to penalize a guy for some random, mishap, to use a word like this. So what do you think? I have a feeling it's actually going to move the needle.
yeah. There's a lot to unpack. I think there was talk even before Cade with Jokic, and Cade as an MVP is a whole nother combo. I know you're on that train. I haven't really believed it. I know they've got a winning record, but I think he's a great player. I don't see him as a true MVP candidate. I think he's probably a second All NBA guy if I'm being honest. But
Agree.
that's okay. Yeah, 65 games. To me, it comes back to Kawhi Leonard and what
Yep.
Pop was doing back in the day of sitting his age superstars, but then even sitting some of those stars. And so I have enjoyed as a fan just getting to watch really good basketball this last month because they've had really good matchups, and this was something the schedulers did. But as much debate as there is, of course, that the voters should be able to vote on this. I don't think there needs to be a 65 threshold. It is working in that the dudes are playing. Like there's a
It's true.
reason that Joker came back when he did. There's a reason that Wemby has been playing these games, and they could probably be playing the safe card of like, oh, let's just rest him and see the playoffs. So like, but the other side, Wally, is none of us want to see injuries. And every time a dude plays, there is a injury risk. And this one was really random with Cade. I think he took a
Yeah.
knee, Jalen Johnson, to the rib cage and then collapsed the lung. Like pretty funky injury. And they're still winning without him. And I will say that's the other interesting nuance across all of the NBA. Whether it was Joker going down, Wemby being out, Shea being out, Luka maybe not as much. You could speak more to that. Their teams have won without them, and that's something
Hmm.
that we have not seen. And that's an interesting nuance because when you think of this term, most valuable player, does the value show when they're off the court if their team can still win? But I would say 65 games to me is a little bit arbitrary. It's just like why that number. And yes, should there be injury extenuating circumstances? I think that's obvious,
Yeah.
especially when max contracts are tied both to all NBA awards, Defensive Player of the Year, MVP. Like their money is tied to it, and it
Big
puts
time.
voters in a weird spot where they have to like make these decisions. But I would also say like just voters are smart. Like if a guy plays 60 games and a guy plays 80 games and their numbers are similar, like there's so much storyline. And the question I would come back to you with is I can't think of a tighter MVP race right now. I don't know, since I've been a fan, frankly. Like,
Yeah.
so talk to me about the 65 games and who your MVP is. I know you've been high on Wemby being, but Shea is leading. What do you think there, man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let's wrap up with that. So I think right now it's a three-man race. I mean, the last,
You think
the one
three?
last year, I
I
think
got
it's
four.
three-man
I
race.
got four.
I know you got your guy Joker in there, but I think at this point he and honestly it's unfair to him, but the way that this award, just gets awarded, over the course of history, once you get to 3, it's hard to start getting above that number unless you are just head and shoulders above everyone. And
Like
if
leading the league in assists and
oh
rebounds
yeah,
per game.
no, for
That
sure.
no human should do that, Wally. No human should do that.
I would not be upset, surprised, shocked at all if I was completely wrong on this. Trust me, he is worthy. He's
But
one of those players.
their team hasn't been as
Yes.
good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So no, for me, it's I personally, if I'm a MVP voter right now, my vote's going to Wemby. Because I think you take him off that team, they're still a solid team, but like
I mean, Steph Castle destroyed some OKC Thunder
oh sure, for
without
sure.
Wemby.
Without a doubt. Yeah, I just think that guy, like you take him off that
Both
team,
sides.
they're just vastly different.
Mhm.
I think you got to probably go, for me, I suppose the second slot would be Shea, best team in the league.
Just
But
default.
again, they played pretty well without him. And then I think Luka right now is above Joker with this stretch that he's been on. I mean, going on a 6-game on the road stretch, averaging 40 the first time since Jordan 86.
Yeah.
That's undeniable stuff.
A lot of Jordan Wilt stats thrown out this year, aren't there?
Seriously.
Which is also like evidence of what kind of style of basketball is being played, in terms of pacing and space and three ball and truly like as efficient scoring, and what casuals might say is not as fun to watch. I will say, like, I do appreciate what Wemby said in that interview when he was kind of selling himself, and defense is a part of the game, and that's where I think Luka loses steam for me. But yeah, you can't deny his scoring. Shea, I think, holds up defensively. I think Joker holds up in spots. He rebounds the ball. And I will give your guy Luka, he has taken a couple charges. He is showing like some I don't know, aspect of caring. And it's totally correlated with less argument to the ref. I think then he's allowing himself to be in the play.
Yeah, of course.
So I think it's still a four horse race. And I'm actually excited to think that, like, it's gonna take until the very last night of basketball for me to both decide that and decide like what matchups, who's gonna win out in the playoffs, and I don't know if do you want to talk your La La Land a little bit? How are you feeling there? And
man, if we had the time, I would love to.
We'll come back to that.
Out. But yeah, dude, I think it's coming down the wire in terms of the teams, in terms of the MVP candidates, and it's the best time of year, man, on the cusp of NBA playoffs. It really is.
Probably going to be Shea, right? Probably going to be Shea.
I think, yeah.
But Wemby's closing.
And I don't. But yeah.
And my order would be Wemby, Joker, Luka, Shea. That would be my order.
Again, these 4 guys, any of the 4 guys, I think is worthy. I really do. I think it's going to come down to team records. So that's why I think Shea and Wemby are above Luka and Joker right now. But the stats that Joker puts up are just out. But this will be the final word, let's say, because we could go on and on if we had the time. The fact that I so easily dismissed that this guy is leading the league in both assists and rebounds, which would be the first time in history.
Yeah,
the fact that he just practically gets triple-double every night. That in and of itself is just such a testament to how insanely incredible and great that player is. You know what I'm saying?
Just like as insanely and great and incredible as you are in that beard game is. I miss it.
I appreciate it.
I feel itchy looking at that. Wally, it was great. Thanks for your time, dude.
Great,
Let's do it
man.
again
Of course. Always, man. Take care.
You too, Wally.